Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at another Devblog. This is the BF-109 C-1. This is the first C, I believe, that we have in the game, variant-wise, of the BF-109, and adds to the collection of BF-109s, where there's just a metric ton of them. All pretty fun to play, and all do generally play differently from each other. The cool thing about this one is it is a rank 1, and it will just come after, I believe, the B model. The fact is, we don't get a lot of World War II vehicles nowadays in updates, so whenever we see them, I always kind of celebrate, because at least for me, that is the part of history that I'm mostly interested in when it comes to War Thunder stuff. The BF-109 will be fine. It will generally play okay, but let's get into the history of this vehicle. While taking on experience from combat in the Spanish Civil War, one evident drawback of the BF-109B was its armament, with a pair of twin 7.92mm machine guns being its only offensive weaponry. This was quickly deemed outdated, and efforts to improve its weaponry began. Designers quickly came across several hurdles in this process. Experiments were trialed, equipping these early 109s with a nose-mounted cannon or machine gun to no success, with the only remaining space being in the wings, though even equipping the wings with additional weaponry proved difficult. Accommodating for the comparatively low wing area in addition to the spars and wheel wells, only space for one gun in either wing was possible. But with some adjustments and ingenuity, the designers managed to cram in one machine gun into each wing, effectively doubling the firepower of the BF-109 at the time. So it's really nice to see the BF-109 C-1, but realistically for me, it's going to be a vehicle that I play probably 2 or 3 times, and then I'll have it spaded, and then we'll move on, right? Just because it's a rank 1 vehicle, which won't take a lot of time to get through. But, at the same time, one of the things I think about now is the implications of a vehicle like this in other areas of the game. So, for example, this could be used in a page of history, right? Maybe the first flight of the BF-109, or maybe it was involved in some kind of conflict. Maybe if they decide to do a Spanish Civil War setup, maybe this thing gets involved. Probably not, though, since it was afterwards, but who knows? Who knows where it could be. So at least it would have a little bit of extra stuff going on, instead of just being a plane that you play a few times and then it's done. One of the things that wasn't mentioned in the history section was the fact that this does get an upgraded engine. So from the B model, you have increased armament and also increased engine power. The reason for this is because the C actually has the UMO 210G engine, and the big difference between them is this one has a fuel injection system and a lot more horsepower. So it should be a lot more powerful moving around the air than the B, which does have a bit of an issue doing that. It also has double the armament, so it has 4 7.92mm machine guns, 2 in the engine top, and then also 2 in the wings, which is nice to see. The thing about these types of guns and the setup of the BF-109 C-1 is always really nice, because one of the things that's super important for me is having a lot of ammunition at low tiers. It doesn't really matter the caliber of gun, but if you have a lot of ammunition, that means it can be used as a teaching aid for people trying to learn different parts of the game. So for example, the C variant here, and also the E1, the Emil variant of the BF-109, have a similar armament, and they also will have similar capabilities, where they're quite maneuverable, they will climb well, and also they'll be able to set up on targets really well, which will be great for the vehicles. And this means that they'll be great for learning how to aim, for learning how to dogfight, and learning how to kind of play the game from an early level. I've always talked about how in Air Realistic there are many different playstyles, and some are dictated by the plane, some are dictated by what the enemy's in, and some are dictated by just how you feel on the day, because some planes really can do anything. And stuff like the C-1, the E-1, and also the C-202 are vehicles which are very good in many different roles, and the fact is you can learn how to play against them, or how to play against other enemy aircraft and work out what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and capitalize on what their weaknesses are. And that, for me, is a really cool teaching aid, which is why I like the early BF-109s, specifically the C and the E, because of their weaponry and how you have to learn kind of how to aim. So to have another one of those vehicles, which is kind of a learning aid, is really cool, and hopefully, kind of going forward, we can see more of these things, and see what is, going to happen. There is technically a C version which does have access to 20mm. I feel like that would be a pretty heavy one, but, was around. And it kind of shows how with the BF-109, there's just a million different variants of it. Just like the Spitfire and just like many others, they did constantly upgrade it with a bunch of stopgaps as well to try and make it, as good as possible. The BF-109 C-1 will be coming in at rank 1. It'll be fun to play. Probably the first vehicle that I'll play in the updates, just because it'll be easy to research, and it's always a pleasure playing the early BF-109s. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank Schnitzel Stroker, Brendan Quinn, Vilneus, Character Fuel, Carrion Crow, Nicholas Richardson, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, B. Young, Opium Prime, Masonocrat, Lafouche, Alan Hacker, Sem Arslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.